Hi Libra, welcome to your March reading. I am really excited to be sitting here with you in a whole new month, a whole new energetic phase. And Libra, you guys have an interesting point in time in March. Just in general, every year this is an interesting time for Librans because we're in Pisces, which is your sixth house energy of the practical, right? And then we have a full moon on the first of the month, that Virgo full moon, which is your 12th house. That spiritual, hidden, deep, very deep side of yourself. And then, we have a new moon in Pisces, once again, back into your sixth house and this practical energy. And then we're setting up to spend the last third of the month in Aries, your opposite sign. And as we shift into that energy, as we shift into your oppositional sign, this is always the most self-reflective, I think, for each sign when you're in the oppositional sign energy, with a lot of energy in Aries. That's when you get your self-reflection because you have your mirror energy, right? And I have notes here for you guys. One thing I was writing down was practice self-love, do the practice. It's not about the end goal. It's not about having a nice balanced out, oh, I'm done. It's about the practice of doing it, right? But one thing that came up into my head just before I turned on the camera and started shuffling, which, wow, 3 cards really wanted to come out, was that there is a need for you all to accept the inherent imbalance of certain situations and of the world as we know it. And there is a certain sense that this month is going to pull you back a little bit and ask you to do just that. We have a Mercury retrograde starting, I believe, on the 22nd of March that is going to slow you down, and it's in Aries. It's in your opposite house. So yes, this is about, or opposite sign, but this is about relationships. This is about your relationship to other, right? Your opposite. And having Mercury retrograde in your 7th house of relationships means you are going to be asked to slow down and look at why you are seeking certain outcomes, certain ideas of what you think should be happening, right? So honestly, Librans, this is not necessarily going to be the most natural of months, especially the first third of it for you in your natural energetic phase, because 6th and 12th house energies do ask for some homework. They do ask for homework on the spiritual and the physical side of things. And that means that you are going to be feeling a little bit of that. And that's why I think the idea of practice, the practice of self-love, the practice of taking a deep breath and slowing down, the practice of feeling your way through the world rather than thinking your way through the world. Those are big homework assignments, right? So these were some of the senses I've gotten for you all. This month in general, and this is a general note for everybody, is this kind of start and stop, deep healing from the inside out, and then also a lot of forward motion. So there's a lot happening, and kind of some of it's oppositional, and there's a lot just going on. And then, of course, once we hit the very last day of March, it is your full moon. And I do think that coming out of this month, you're going to feel a lot stronger than maybe you have felt this winter as we go into spring, and we are in spring and your full moon is there. We are feeling that first breath. I mean, if you're in the northern hemisphere, or, the first fall moon, there's a shift in the seasons, right? There's an excitement here, and you all always get that first moon of the new astrological year. So it's really cool. Now I've pulled 9 cards like I have been doing. So 3 sets of 3, because I just really love the way that this works us through the month, and I'm very curious to see what's coming up for my Librans, because I think you guys are in an interesting place in your lives, and you are being asked to shed an old skin and transform, and it's been going on for a while, and we're still kind of working through the bumps and the shifts that come with that kind of transition. So let's look here. The first 3 cards, we have the 5 of Pentacles, the King of Wands, and the 7 of Cups. Now, that is really interesting, actually, because here's the practice of self-love. Actually, it's showing up in a really profound way, and it seems to be centering around a King of Wands personality. Now we know the King of Wands is stubborn, it's fatherly authority. It's a figure that often sits and has an idea of how things are going to go, and his focus is very Aries energy, actually. It's very Aries energy, and this kind of dominant personality can have a really strong sense of what they think is good. And you have to, if you're working with this type of energy, if you have a partnership with this energy, or you are close to this energy, you have a family member with this energy, or a friend, or a coworker, or anything like that, any close relationship, the number one thing is you have to learn how to set healthy boundaries with this energy. And you can't just let them walk all over you. And you can't also feel guilty or expect them to feel guilty if they don't know that you need some kind of balance check. And part of the reason I say that is when he's surrounded by these energies right here, and he doesn't know it, there's nothing he can do about it. And these are very personal energies, and often people hide these. If you're struggling with Five of Pentacles and Seven of Cups energy, the external world's not necessarily going to pick up on this unless you say that you are struggling with something, or you need help with something, or you need to set a boundary for something, right? So, Five of Pentacles is feeling shut out and in the cold, right? But not in the classic way of like somebody just ignoring you. Sure, maybe a King of Wands is doing their own thing and you feel a little neglected. But the Five of Wands is much more about feeling your own lack of worthiness. Five of Pentacles. Did I say Five of Wands? Five of Pentacles is about feeling your own lack of worthiness. Your own poverty within your soul, feeling that you don't deserve the love and respect that you really want. And there's where that self-love practice comes in, right? We're all capable of getting the Five of Pentacles energy popping up. We all have to acknowledge and then practice the self-love. But it's like for some reason, this whole King of Wands energy thing is pulling up in you all your greatest fears, all your greatest worries, all your greatest concerns about who you are and what you're allowed to have. For some reason, it's triggering this foggy kind of searching, seeking energy. Now, like I said, we're having a full moon in Virgo right at the beginning of the month. It's a pretty intense moon. I would highly recommend watching my moon magic if you're curious to see what that's going to feel like. And it is a moon that is in your 12th house, which is this kind of energy. It is dreamy. It is sometimes hard to get a sense of what is really going on. So keep in mind that you may feel a little foggy on things as well. And here's what I would say. Sit with that. Acknowledge when you're feeling that, because it is really important for you to get to acknowledge those pain parts of yourself so that whatever's going on here can either be healed and you can move forward into really happy things, or you can set healthy boundaries and allow that person to know that you need certain things in order to feel acknowledged. And it's interesting, Libra, I feel like there is something coming up here for you this month. I'll show you the next three cards, and it's like almost a lack of trust in self. We have the Ten of Swords, the Three of Wands, and then the Five of Swords. And this is really interesting as well, because here is a card of burnout. It's a card of exhaustion. It's a card that is asking for something to close out, right? That's the thing with this energy. It's not about an ongoing system. It's an ongoing story. This is about closing out a story that no longer serves you. Ten of Swords is feeling burnt out, is feeling tired, is feeling that you can no longer go around in circles because you have nothing left up there. You know? And so there's something about you guys, I don't know if it's that you're overextending and other people don't even realize that you are, or you are feeling betrayed or ignored or neglected and others don't even realize that you are. But the sense that I'm getting from you guys right now is that you have not communicated what's really going on with you internally, and people don't know about it, and you may find that you are coming up with all these foggy energies. Now, nobody else can do that work for you, right? Like, you have to acknowledge where you're feeling that, because here we have the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands is fantastic. This is your ships coming in. This is something that you've been working towards or thinking about or desiring that is now starting to come into fruition, that is now manifesting in your life, and that is now starting to show up to you. And that's great. That is fantastic energy, you guys. However, if you are in a place where you don't want to accept it because you're not feeling you can accept it, or because you feel guilty, or because you feel out of sorts with yourself, it's going to have a hard time coming in. And that's why I find it interesting. It's almost like you guys, what the challenge is here is to practice your self-love, is to practice being good with who you are and what you are and the energy that you're projecting before it can manifest. And so it's showing up really strongly here that the good manifestations, the things that want to play with you, this fire energy that wants to play with you, is surrounded by a whole bunch of mental energy that is making it like difficult for that energy to engage with you. You know, Five of Swords is doubting somebody. You don't trust a situation. Maybe you don't trust that this is really good for you. Maybe you don't trust that this is going to pan out. Maybe you worry that you're going to get hurt in this, right? Because you've been hurt before. We've been going through some stuff, Libra. I know you have. And, you know, Jupiter left your sign this year, this past few months, and now it's in Scorpio, and maybe the energy shifted a little bit, right? And now you're maybe a little wary. Five of Swords is not trusting. It's being afraid that somebody's going to do something secret or mean or malicious to you. It's being afraid that if you trust something, these terrible things are going to happen to you. These are so mental. They don't normally manifest in the real world unless you completely buy into it. And you keep it to yourself and you don't express what your needs or desires are. Then it will. It will absolutely. It will absolutely come into existence, and, you know, for no good reason. That's what I'm seeing here. All of it is the power of our minds to create the stories. And sometimes when we haven't communicated our needs or desires in a clear, concise way to the external world, to the people involved, those mental loops gain power. They gain strength. They gain dominance. And then they become real. And I do think that we are in a spiritual space for you guys leading up into Aries season. And it's a little volatile for you. I would suggest, you know, with the full moon and the new moon, this is a month to really look at those little thoughts that you have throughout the day or the week, those little insidious thoughts that like to sneak in and tell you that things aren't as good as you think they are, that you don't deserve to have this happiness, that there's nothing that you can do about it. All of that will get in the way of you having this, which wants to come through, is what I'm seeing here. This is genuine, true, straightforward energy that wants to be in your life, that wants to work with you, that wants to see things happen, that wants to find out. But I have a feeling that this energy doesn't know the half of what is going on internally with you. And that is causing there to be a disassociation almost. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. So just kind of watch those thoughts, because here again, I'll show you the last 3 cards for the month as we hit Aries season, which I'm so excited about. Aries season is one of my favorite times of the year. Fresh starts, high energy. Look what we have: the World, the Four of Pentacles, and the Emperor. You guys are having a really strong theme here. Now, what I like about this, when we finally do hit Aries season, when we finally start getting into your full moon, is there is a flip. There is a reversal of the dominant energy. So now, instead of it being the mental scared energy that is dominant with a little bit of this center that's like, hey, I actually want to do this with you, we have the dominant positive energy on either side, and then the Four of Pentacles as the smaller. So I'm going to first talk about these two right here. Okay. The World is about letting something go. So is the Ten of Swords, honestly. It's almost like you guys can't let something go. You can't let some past injury go, some past fear, some past belief go. So this month is the practice of self-love, and it's also the practice of putting your mind towards positive forward motion thought, and not so much on the old stories and the old fears. The World is about closing out a cycle. It is about releasing it. It's about that. If you're like holding on to something, sometimes you have to let go. Sometimes you have to let go. it's beautiful energy. It's coming with an opportunity. It's coming in with some kind of fresh thing that wants to come in. There's something knocking at your door that wants to be let in. And for some reason, you have so much resistance to it this month. Same with the Emperor. You know, for me, the King of Wands and the Emperor, look at these guys. You know, this fiery, warm, passionate energy. Like I said, this can be about business. This can be about business opportunities, especially with the Emperor, who is so much about pushing forward into new territory. I mean, this is Aries energy. This is your opposite sign energy. This is energy of the other, the people you're working with, the people you're closest with. And it's this fiery, passionate, very stubborn, very determined energy, yet it is energy that is very much connected with striving for new things in the world, starting new things. These are new adventures coming up here for you. This is fresh beginnings, opportunities, lots of high momentum going here, right? The only thing standing in the way of this beautiful forward motion energy is this. And this is, once again, only real if you buy into it. The Four of Pentacles is a Pentacles card that is one of the much more mental versions. This is our emotional and our mental relationship to money, the way we picture money. And most of us, a lot of us in the world, picture it as not enough. And then we have to hold on. If we let go and we jump into new territory, it's all going to go wrong. If we open ourselves up to whatever this high intensity thing, this opportunity that asks us to change, if we open up to it, everything's going to fall apart. So you better just sit with what you have and hold on to it. There's a nervousness that I'm feeling from you guys about the shift you're being asked to take this month that is showing up again and again and again. And here's the thing that's interesting with this month and with where you are in the process. It can go either way. Some of you are going to find that you are going to run with this opportunity. It is going to expand your horizons. You are going to have a lot of renewed energy. By the time we hit April, it's going to get even better. Yeah. Or some of you may buy into all this murky, foggy, mental fear energy, and you're going to find it's going to take a little bit more time for these things to completely come to fruition. And you know, it's never done. The process, the work is never done. So that's not like, if that's the case, if you're working through the self-love practice, if you're working through the allowance and the relaxation process, and you're working through that practice, and you hit against some roadblocks and you feed into it a little bit, that's okay. It doesn't mean these opportunities are going to disappear and you're never going to see them again. It means that you are just taking a little bit more time to get into that practice. And then we will, and then these opportunities will always continue to come back as you open and allow. That's the biggest thing I can say about this month, you guys, is leverage that. It's a lot of start and stop energy for us all as a collective in March, because we have some retrogrades. We have Jupiter retrograde starting on the 8th. We have Mercury retrograde on the 22nd. But then we have all this energy moving us right into Aries season, which is so high energy and really good for you guys. And yet we're still working through some of this Piscean healing that is going on. There's so much happening. And so this is a month where it really is in the way we're thinking about things. And Librans, you are standing in your own way a little bit. And I know we talk about this a lot, but this is one of the harder aspects of being an air sign, I've noticed, is that while that intellectual ability to compose thought and story and get a grasp on it on so many levels can be so fantastic and useful, it can also be your worst enemy and can run you into a corner unnecessarily. Don't overanalyze. Feel your way through, trust yourself, and be sure to express any anxiety or nerves you have to the people you're working with, because they will probably be able to allay those anxieties in 5 seconds, rather than you spinning in your head for like weeks at a time and then making it real in the real world, right? So I'm going to leave it at that, because I feel like it's pretty clear to me. Things are good, right? Things are good. So take a deep breath, practice self-love. Now, I am wearing this amazing crown by PinkLune, and it's very exciting because this crown is going to be for sale. This is the only one. There are none other. I am wearing it for the videos this month, and then it is going straight into her shop. The link is below. Now, it's going to go fast. Just saying. So I'm going to leave the link for this specific crown below, as well as her overall shop, because there are other crowns. However, this one is a very special one because I'm working with it here, and it's gorgeous. It is gorgeous. So please check that out. I'm going to leave all her info below. Of course, I would love to work with you. I'm still working through my calendar and trying to get in people, so check out my website or email me and we will work together. I am sending you all the best, Libra. Have a beautiful March. Bye.